I wonder why they haven't made like an MMO out of Monster Hunter in the West.
Well, you know, if we want to go back to a previous and current campaign of Operation Cherry Blossom, Frontier is something that Capcom has completely disavowed themselves from working on or releasing in the West. As far as I'm concerned, they're never going to release it because I guess they don't think it's compatible with a Western mindset. They actually, I think, their stated reason for not allowing English-playing players to play on there. By the way, be careful. Like, I think I mentioned that. I'll say it again. Don't start talking in English in local channels. You could get banned. Bad time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But they haven't released it here because I guess they don't think MMOs do well enough. Nothing's going to compete against WoW. People don't want to play it. Oh, God. Okay, so before we got rudely disconnected, thanks, Capcom, I was talking about Monster Hunter Frontier in the West, right? And
speaking of Capcom, by the way, I have to mention one thing.
Okay.
Have you guys saw that Capcom is supporting SOPA?
Yep.
What? Huh?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm not really sure because I don't know, because we're using their stuff, so when they're supporting SOPA, it means
we're screwed.
This might be the last episode, but never mind. The world is going to, end with 2012 anyway. So.
But what? Christian, did you see this on the 8-4 podcast?
No.
Is this what you're talking?
No.
Hold on. Well, all right. Then we've got a lot of things still to talk about. Tell me about. Did they issue a statement, or was their name just on a big list?
No, I just tweeted it today. I just heard that they had like a PR person say that they're supporting SOPA.
Yep.
So they don't want Monster Hunter videos anymore.
I don't know. It's not unusual because a lot of the Japanese companies actually supporting SOPA. So Nintendo actually supports it as well.
I think I actually heard Nintendo, Sony, EA, and Microsoft were originally supporting SOPA, but recently they dropped their support. I'm not sure how true that is, but I was told that recently.
Well, I heard that with Sony it's a pretty problematic because they're like different divisions. So there's like Sony Music and Sony Entertainment and stuff like that. And depending on which division you're talking about, they dropped or didn't drop it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Capcom really, I mean, that was really a shock for me. I mean, it was kind of...
A shock trap?
A shock trap, exactly. I'm still in a shock trap and I can't get out.
Get me out of this shock trap.
But you know, I'm really liking what I'm seeing with GoDaddy.
What is GoDaddy doing?
Well, GoDaddy was also supporting SOPA and they just got completely like destroyed over this.
Man, because like I'm my web, I guess my domain name's through GoDaddy.
Yeah, you should probably change like everybody does right now. Like,
well, I don't think they're gonna give me a refund. I'm paid up for like 5 years.
Oh man, you still should do it. We're gonna throw it together so you can do it.
I mean, if people want to pay me money to change my name server, I guess I'll do it.
I will pay you because they're jerks. I mean, they're supporting SOPA and they just saying, oh no, we're not supporting SOPA anymore. But in reality, they do. They're just saying it to fool people.
I think what I actually heard about Sony and Nintendo was as a result of the GoDaddy thing.
Uh-huh.
So after GoDaddy announced like their stance on SOPA, Sony and Nintendo withdrew their support.
Yeah, that makes sense because everybody's leaving GoDaddy right now. Like MLG left, everybody. It's really crazy.
All right, I guess I gotta join that dog pile.
Yes.
All right, I'll see what I can do about it.
Seriously, Sherbert.
I spent a lot of money. Maybe
they get it, or at least you can say that you're gonna leave, and then maybe they give you like a better deal or something like that.
I mean, I don't really know. I mean, they kind of got me over a barrel, Christian. I paid for 5 years.
But it's a domain. It's not that expensive, right?
Well, I will tell them I'm not going to renew them if SOPA passes.
Oh,
right?
come on. In 5 years, I'm not going to renew.
What are you going to do?
Wait, in 5 years, you're finished.
Well, I don't know. What do you want me to do?
I don't care, I guess, because I'm not in America, so it doesn't concern me. But guys, we need to keep internet free. Free.
Definitely do. I'm in a weird position. This is definitely odd. I feel very uncomfortable in my bathing suit area. This is not good.
Yeah, I mean, the entire SOPA is exactly the thing that would affect us.
It could be very, very bad. I mean, it remains to be seen. I mean, it all depends on the copyright holder. All Capcom has to say is, we don't want our content up there anymore. Yeah. And there's no more Monster Hunter podcast. You'd have to get it through the Monster Hunter, or actually through the Social Dissonance pirate radio station.
And the crazy thing is that, looking at how difficult it is to coordinate, different parts of the same company across the board, that's something that actually might happen. Like, some part of the company says, yeah, well, that's right, no Capcom games videos anymore. And then other parts of the company, wait, but there's this podcast and they're actually promoting our game, and then nobody knows anything anymore. But still, we're looking at maybe having to remove all our stuff.
I don't know about that. Pirate radio station. Oh wait, Christian, you left, man. I was gonna heal you, bro.
He kicked me out, so I said, okay, I'm just gonna chill out here and drink.
That's where you're gonna be there. I'm done with you,
man.
Chris. You're a jerk.
This part of the town is just not cool anymore. I'm just gonna over to Area 5 and chill out with my Ludros pals. They're way cooler.
Can I talk MMOs a little bit again?
Yeah, sure. Go back. So is there, because you have a huge load to unload right now?
A lot. Well, hold on. I was going to talk a little bit about bringing Frontier to the West, but right now I want to discuss the competition. The Monster Hunter-like competition. You have 2 to 3 major competitors in the field, 2 that are in market, one that might come out.
Some, right?
I did test some. Hunter Blade is the worst thing since... Sorry.
Whoa.
Okay, I'm sorry. I bleeped that out. Hunter Blade is a completely obvious and generic ripoff of Monster Hunter in every single way possible. In fact, it is bizarre that they could rip it off so clearly and yet make it the worst game ever created.
You know what? If Capcom is still supporting SOPA, we're gonna turn it into a Hunter Blade.
Yeah, I know. They would give us permission to use their game because God knows no one's playing it. So, things wrong with Hunter Blade. Well, you have to talk to someone between every other quest 2 or 3 times at a time, advancing some meaningless, bizarrely Alta Vista translated script of the game. I don't know. It's really bad. It's like really bad.
At least it's localized.
Yeah. I mean, the monsters are weird. The first one you fight is a Boldrome, but not a Boldrome. The second one you fight is a gigantic... Yeah, I can't believe it's not Boldrome. The second one you fight is a Kirin. It's not a Kirin and doesn't have lightning. It's just a Kirin that runs around and you stab it. It's like, it's not even a Kirin, it's a goat. It looks like a goat and it runs around and you stab it in the butt a couple times and then it dies.
You're seriously fighting a goat?
You're fighting a big goat, if I remember correctly. And it's super easy and super, super stupid. I mean, it doesn't pose any challenge. I mean, and the worst part... It is the true Kelby drone. You could almost make it a somewhat Monster Hunter experience if you turn off the user interface. But bizarrely enough, when you turn off the user interface, you can't carve anymore. Like, what? If I got really drunk and I try not to think about it, I might think I was playing Monster Hunter until I couldn't carve the things that I killed. So
this is so bizarre.
Completely written off the list. So that game is still in beta, and will probably never leave.
The thing that shocked me about this game is when every time you see videos, the screenshots look kind of okay, but when you see videos of it, the way you change direction when you run, it's like instantaneous. It looks like a robot. It looks like a It's crazy. It's like normally when you in a normal game when you run and you change direction, then your character kind of smoothly rotates into a new direction. But in this game, you just snap into the new direction you want to go to. It's crazy. It's like an 8-bit video game where you just have like 3 directions you can go to, like 4 directions you can go to, and your character just snaps into the other direction when you press a different direction. That's how it works.
I mean, they somehow stole all of the animation keyframes or had somebody sit down in front of a game of Monster Hunter and frame by frame copy everything except for the animations where you turn around. They forgot those.
And it's crazy because we always say, oh, China is copying things again, but from my personal experience it's very different. We had like people from Chinese like I don't know, like people who want to get into game design at Cologne Game Lab, and were here and they were like designing stuff, and they had like these great creative ideas. They were really nice people and stuff like that, really ambitious and stuff like that. And who are those people in China who are copying all this stuff?
Well, they too are the people on the Chinese mainland, who I'm assuming are the ones that made this game, are IP restricted from playing Frontier. Or
I just completely
that's cool, man. I'm down with it. Or maybe they didn't want to pay the fee, or maybe they just wanted something we call their own. I don't know. But that's enough of of Hunter Blade. I had to go to rehab for a while. I had to take a scalding hot bath. I still don't feel clean. It's really bad. So I tried another game.
Right? It's free, right?
It's free. I think you can pay money. I don't know why you would. It's in beta. I don't.
I think I'm gonna try it just for.
Okay, just for the lols.
Yeah.
Vindictus is another game that has kind of a cool third-person brawler sort of thing going on. It's similar to Monster Hunter in that it's got kind of like a meaty feel to the combat. But the biggest issue with that, oddly enough for me, is that the performance isn't all that good on my computer. It's a very demanding game.
Oh, wow.
And like that's probably the game I played least, because like I plan to record some of this gameplay, and if I can't get anywhere around 60 frames per second, it's just not really worth it, because once I start running fraps, it's gonna fall to pieces. So, I think that would be an okay alternative for people that don't want to try to get into Frontier, but want a similar experience. Check it out. I hope you have fun. I won't be playing it because it just doesn't run well on any of my computers.
Well, there's still a couple of things we wanted to play on this podcast, actually. We still haven't gotten around to play...
Terraria.
No, well, that...
Settlers of Catan, the 4 of us together?
That as well, but, Lost Planet
Lost
2.
Planet? Yeah, people want us to play it, and I think we almost all... Noxilla, do you have it?
Nope.
We'll get it for you.
We get it for you.
There's another game that I have little to no information of. I sent them an email saying that I run this podcast, and that I would, if they want to give us access, we'll play it. It's called Raiders.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember the old Korean MMO Guns?
No.
It was a game we released 2005, 2006. It had kind of like the Matrix-y sort of running around buildings, shooting guns at each other.
You had me at Matrix.
It was okay. It was free to play.
Does it contain ducks?
You might be able to look like a duck by now. I'm sure they have DLC that makes you look like a duck.
Okay, I'm in.
They're making a Monster Hunter-like game, but I haven't played it. I can't say anything of it.
Okay. So it's not that game. It's a different game you're talking about.
So let's go full circle.
Yes.
Monster Hunter Frontier in the West.
Yes.
Capcom is very hesitant right now to spend money localizing any games that they are not convinced are going to make them millions and millions and millions of dollars. Because localizing is an expensive proposition, and the American currency sucks compared to the Japanese yen. In fact, many currencies suck compared to the Japanese yen. And so it's a Japanese company, they need to be concerned about what sort of profits they're making on the Japanese market, right? They have a lot of stockholders that they have to make sure are happy.
Uh-huh.
And so, I was thinking to myself, what could be done to bring this game over, conceivably ever? Capcom is not going to do it themselves. They will never do it themselves, as far as I'm concerned, unless suddenly overnight U.S. currency is worth, twice that of the Japanese currency. It's not going to happen. Atlas Online is kind of an interesting project that Atlas has started about 3 or 2 years ago. I forget. But they ran a couple games. They ran Neo Steam, which is actually Ending Soon, which is kind of like a steampunk MMO. They run Shin Megami Tensei Online, which is awesome, but I couldn't get into it because it was like really weird. It had like kind of like a really weird translation to it.
I heard it was actually really bad.
Yeah, I wasn't really digging it much, so I didn't get it. I mean, and I love that series, by the way.
Could you play like as Vincent from Catherine?
No. Well, they probably have DLC or extra costumes that can make you look like him by now, I'm sure.
I'm a big fan of Vincent from Catherine.
Yeah, so am I. I mean, everyone should be. And they also run a game called Pandora Saga, which I believe is somewhat successful. But be it as it may, they are an established company that localizes other MMOs and runs them in an acceptable way. Especially games that follow this sort of freemium model, right? Is that what they call it? Freemium? Free to play with premium benefits? Mm-hmm. Technically, Monster Hunter Frontier is designed to be a free to play MMO. You can't really do anything unless you have the Hunter's Life course. And there are a lot of other things that are very helpful, such as the Assist course, which lets you use boxes around town, buy cheaper supplies, buy stuff for your farm, so on and so forth.
Shepard, I'm much faster than you around the...
Well, I'm not running.
Well, then you have to run now.
Okay.
Oh, it's a race now.
Okay. So, sadly, as I just mentioned, Neo Steam is closing. They're shutting down the servers. The game will not be on in 2 months from now, right?
Yeah.
I feel very bad for the people that played that game. I feel very bad for the developers because I know how expensive it is to localize and run those things. You got to have all these support staff, all these other things. The thought occurred to me, and this isn't the first time. I actually thought of this a long time ago. Why hasn't a deal been brokered between Atlas, who has been in the experience of localizing other companies' games and bringing them to the U.S., and Capcom to bring over Monster Hunter Frontier? Because, let's look at the free-to-play market out there right now and what is good. My brother has recently had me play All Points Bulletin, which is kind of like a third-person shooting games, cops versus robbers. It's okay, but, most of the time you're just getting killed ruthlessly over and over again and holding down a button. And yet, in spite of it not being a very good game, you're having a ton of people playing it, spending real-life money, like $50 for a gun in the game. Mm-hmm. It's not a great gun. It's an okay gun. But, for a game that's not very good, for a game that's not very popular, money's already being poured into it on Steam through promotions and through people's just general interest in it. Mm-hmm. So, Atlas has an opportunity now because they have supposedly a bunch of servers that they aren't using anymore, right? I mean, I'm assuming all the servers that they were using on Neo Steam are going to be free. Maybe not. Maybe they rented them. Maybe they had a lease on them, and that lease is being given up. Maybe they reassigned all their employees on that or fired them to work on other MMOs that they already there, like Pandora Saga or what have you. But I think in terms of, possibility of there being more Monster Hunter in the West, while it actually is kind of a forbidden thing to talk about in the Capcom Unity forums. I mean, for a while they tolerated the Operation Cherry Blossom and Portable Third, mostly because Snow was there and he wanted to see that. I think Frontier still don't talk about it. If word can be brokered between I don't know who or how or why, but Atlas to say, hey, what up, Capcom? We've got the servers, you got the game, and we know people want to play it. I don't see why they wouldn't release it, because it is a game that is fun to play. I mean, we've made 70 podcasts about it.
I know.
Many thousands of videos on the internet about it.
I don't know. I'm really cautious about speculation like this because we have no idea of what it takes to bring an MMO to America.
Right.
It's not just server costs, and even stuff like installing like the MMO on a server. That's something you need a development team for, to test all the kinks and make sure it runs, set up the infrastructure. That's a lot of work required, just to have MMO running. And
I know of a certain German game developer who's going to have some free time.
No, that's not something I'm going to do, and I'm just not qualified to do that. I have some experience with getting stuff on Steam, and that's just very almost hobby kind of game development.
Well,
I can only imagine how complex it must be to set up MMO. And even, Monster Hunter, you have to also remember that it's not just any MMO. It's not like, World of Warcraft, where it's, where lag is not that big of an issue. Like with
the netcode, like I said, is surprisingly good. Like, I'm playing on a connection that is roughly better than a 56k connection, and I'm doing okay.
Yeah, well, the thing is that the reason why it's working so good is maybe that because there are people there, making sure that it runs smoothly or using very good servers and stuff like that. It seems to me like going to MMO, especially if you consider that World of Warcraft is so hugely more successful than any other MMO in the West. Going MMO with something that wasn't so popular as a single-player game anyway is not very reasonable for Capcom to do, I think.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know. We're grasping at straws here, Christian.
I mean,
the Mindguard forums, which are among the oldest forums in the Monster Hunter community, have actually posted a bulletin on their main page saying, "Hey, seems like Monster Hunter is dying. Should we convert these forums into a social forum?"
Oh, wow.
I don't even know what that would mean. What is a social forum? Like,
just for you? An entire forum for social? That's pretty...
No, not for me. I see what you did there.
No, but seriously, I think... I'm pretty sure Capcom is going to try to get Monster Hunter, because, get Monster Hunter more out in the West. But I think they're going to do it using the single-player games. And every single-player game that was released in the West was more popular than the previous one.
Yeah.
So
that's just my point, is that there's certainly increasing demand for this game. Because this is the sort of game that becomes popular. It's exponential in that the people that play it are fanatical about it, and they tell their friends about it.
Yeah.
And it's not a fun game unless you have someone helping you through the beginning ropes.
Yeah, sure.
Like, I could not imagine that I would have enjoyed this game nearly as much if I couldn't have gone online and say, where the hell do I find Monster Fluid?
Yeah.
I would have never found Monster Fluid.
Yeah.
It just would have never existed.
The game is designed around problems like this. So people
community involvement. It is a very community-involved game.
Yeah, yeah.
And the community is growing.
So you might imagine that, for example, having like an entire MMO out when there are just a couple of people playing, that might be not so fun. But yeah, I think there's a growing community there, and I'm pretty sure Capcom is going to try to make it to bring out more games in the West. The question is how they're going to do it. And the thing is, and that's maybe an interesting segue. The guys from 8.4 Play podcast, which are the guys who actually translated the very game we're playing right now. They have been speculating as well about the future of Monster Hunter.
Okay.
Because they recently all got Vitas.
Okay.
And as we know... Oh no, I lost the egg. And as we know, there is no Monster Hunter on the Vita released yet.
Not yet.
There has been one video of Monster Hunter during one early Vita presentation.
I thought it was just a Vita enhanced Monster Hunter Portable 3rd game. I thought it just took advantage of the second analog stick.
Well, I don't know. I guess the resolution was also higher, because they on an 8.4 podcast they said you can play Monster Hunter Portable 3rd on the Vita.
Yeah.
using the second analog stick.
They did that to a lot of games. All the games that can be downloaded onto the Vita, if they have like weird camera controls like that, they reconfigured them so that they would work like that.
It's even cooler. You can actually manually set the analog stick to mimic different behaviors.
Well, la-di-da.
So every PSP game that ever came out, you can select what the right analog stick was going to do.
Oh, that's perfect. That's better than perfect.
Yeah, so Capcom doesn't even have to do anything. It's just, you have to just download Portable Third. You have to get the downloadable version, sadly. But once you download it, you can just use the second analog stick right there. The question is if they are going to release like an upscaled version to so you can benefit from the high resolution of the Vita.
I think they would just release a new edition of the game, like Portable Third G, like I've been asking for a long time.
See, then that's the problem, because we haven't heard anything yet about this, and what we have heard is actually like 2 Monster Hunter games being announced for the 3DS, exactly very shortly before the Vita actually came out. So it seems like there's some kind of weird push and pull going on there. Like there's maybe Sony and Nintendo kind of struggling, trying to pull Monster Hunter on their systems.
No, let's talk numbers, Christian.
Yeah.
How many copies of Monster Hunter Portable Third was sold in the first month? Do you know?
No, I have no idea.
4 million.
Okay. Oh yeah, I heard about that. You mean for the 3DS?
No.
Oh yeah, okay.
The Vita, 4 million. How many for the 3DS? Do you know?
No, I have no idea.
500,000.
Wow.
That is a lot less.
Yeah.
Do you know why that is?
No.
Monster Hunter, I think we could say similar to Dragon Quest at this point, Dragon Warrior, is a social phenomenon in Japan, in that it becomes something for everyone to do.
Yeah.
Right? You do it because everyone else is doing it. You're going to be on the subway, might as well have something to play with other people, or at least talk to other people about. And for the female Japanese, for the ladies, the women there, the PSP is kind of like their system. Like, for whatever reason, it's a stylish thing to have a PSP. It's not as stylish to have a DS or anything else like that. Maybe they play a lot of music on it, maybe they watch a lot of movies, whatever. If they're going to do the in thing, they're going to do it on their PSP. And so when they release PSP versions, they get a lot of extra sales from female and maybe more casual gamers because that's the system they use for Monster Hunter. And so clearly Nintendo must have given Capcom a large sack of money, just like they gave them a large sack of money for Monster Hunter Tri, to get sales of their system to increase. And they did get more sales of the system. I think they sold an extra 300,000 3DSs, where the month before they hadn't sold any.
Yeah, I heard that they were like super successful just because of Monster Hunter.
Yeah, so that certainly helped them, but it didn't really make them a lot of money. It didn't. I mean, unless Nintendo gave Capcom enough money to make up for an extra 3.5 million sales.
Well, I don't know. It's kind of difficult to compare the PSP with
right. That's
3DS.
a huge install base. Everyone's going to have it, whatever. But still, I mean, think of it this way, and this is what I had sent to Maze earlier. Like, if I'm a business and I'm in it for the money, why not just release another version of Monster Hunter Portable Third with an actual G rank, with more monsters, more equipment, maybe a new weapon type? The fans would have liked it. They would have bought it.
Oh, yeah. The thing is, I don't know. Maybe it's like an announcement thing. Maybe they're waiting for the right moment to announce it or something. Maybe they're working on it right now.
I don't know.
But the thing is that, I think there's also some problems with releasing it in the West, which are actually like purely technical.
What?
Yeah, because
it's because the no online multiplayer.
Yeah, the ad hoc stuff.
Yeah, I mean, look, I can understand that. I can actually agree, okay, they're not going to release it because they don't think anyone's going to buy it because there's no online multiplayer. Like, I can kind of get where they're coming from, and I can definitely get where they're coming from. Like, well, we don't want to make the investment to put it in there. I think they should release it anyways.
There is actually an interesting thing I came across the other day. Someone pointed out to me that one of the Club Nintendo surveys asked for those people that play Monster Hunter Portable 2 or Freedom Unite if they used Ad Hoc Party.
What? Club Nintendo asked that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, perhaps Nintendo is considering making something like Ad Hoc Party. So
that would make so much sense.
For the Wii U, because I'm pretty sure when the Wii U is released, you'll be able to use a 3DS as an extra controller. Pure speculation.
My gosh.
That's not. Don't take that as gospel, but I mean that's a 3DS is basically another controller. I mean that's what their controller looks like. It would just be a smaller resolution.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Well, hey, let's hope for that. I guess. I don't know.
I'm certainly getting a Wii U when it comes out.
We're gonna have a lot of quests this time. I don't know. I don't really ever know Nick's schedule.
Nick is mysterious. Nick is like a cat.
He breezes in and breezes out.
Yeah, and sometimes he just poops on the carpet and meows at you.
No, he's done that.
Yeah,
I've seen him.
Yeah. Oh man, I had to clean it up, and it still smells like him.
Oh no, it's gross.
Yeah. All right, should we wrap it up, guys?
Well, I mean that's definitely going in the podcast.
All right, so we haven't answered any questions this time around. We've been so focused on our discussion about Monster Hunter Freedom Unite. No, wait a minute, Monster Hunter Frontier.
Well, you know what we did, Christian? We left the fans with questions.
Yes.
Let's open up a dialogue.
Yes.
Between ourselves before we bring it to Capcom, assuming that they don't actually watch this themselves. Is it feasible? Will it ever in a million years happen?
Shepard, I have not a question but a request.
Okay.
Can you post some videos about the game?
I plan on it. I just need to buy fraps, which is kind of expensive, but I can do that.
Buy?
Yeah, it's like $40 unless I want to record 30 seconds at a time. Screw that.
All right. Then I'm really eager to check it out and to have like a sneak peek into the game. There are of course videos out there right now, but those are mostly not commented and anything, and it's just a random quest with everything is Japanese and stuff like that. So
yeah, it's confusing and frustrating when you see it like that. No, I'll make sure mine are polished and have that Shepherd feel to them, fuzzy around the corners, soft and chewy in the middle.
Nice. So if you guys, our listeners, if you want to, if you have any questions, if you have any areas of the game you want Shepard to check out in specific, you can write us an email to monsterhuntercast@googlemail.com, or you can comment on our website at monsterhunterpodcast.tumblr.com or sociallisteners.com, and you can also, of course, comment in this video right now on YouTube.
Yeah, and there's a big list right now that has everything else that we may or may not have talked about.
Yes.
Mentioned or something.
Yes, definitely.
Enjoy this list.
Yes. So, I guess the next episode is going to be next week. We're going to try to make it a little more regular right now. Things might get better.
I like abusing the fans.
Wow, rude.
Absence makes the heart go fonder, I heard. Not that I have ever tried this myself. All right. So, I guess and we see each other next week. Until then, we wish you good luck, good hunt. And remember, the hipster table is not available on IKEA. I got it from this vintage store, and you probably never heard of it.
You're like,
before you did.
Are you draped in IKEA clothing?
I have a hipster IKEA scarf on right now.
Christian, I want you to get an IKEA couch, remove the fabric, and fashion a suit out of it.
Oh man. To be honest, I have actually an IKEA couch right now behind me. And I'm sitting on an IKEA chair right now. I'm like the anti-hipster.
Yeah, I guess over there, IKEA is kind of mainstream, isn't it?
It's not a mainstream in...
Legitimately, in the United States, IKEA is for hipsters.
Seriously?
Really?
Seriously.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Hello, and welcome to the first Monster Hunter Festa for the year 2012. As you may have heard in the earlier parts of this podcast, or rather, the entire podcast, I recently started to play Monster Hunter Frontier. I wanted to take a special notice now, just the night before the podcast is released, and point out that for the next 2 weeks until around from January 11th to January 25th, Monster Hunter Frontier in Japan will be free for everyone to play. Both the Hunter's Life course and Extra course will be available. What that means to you is that basically the entire game is available. Not only will you be able to play just about any quest available and reach any Hunter Rake, but a great number of items will be sold at 50% off, all items in the town will be available, and some extra quests will also be able to be used. Make sure to take the opportunity and upgrade your farm as much as possible as well. Of course, at this point you're asking me, hey, how do I do any of this? Well, just around here or here, somewhere around here. We're going to have a couple links. There will be a number of them. And trust me when I say, don't get started in this unless you have at least a moderate to high level proficiency in both installing and running computer programs, as well as a willingness to learn at least a basic level of Japanese. That being said, you should follow a number of these threads I'm going to post for the MindGuard forums. Make sure to use the Google Chrome browser, allow it to auto-translate a number of fields when you're creating your application to create your own Capcom Online Games ID. And then finally, just make sure all those things I discussed in the podcast, make sure you have the appropriate system location, date and time, and VPN installed, and that you have the correct version of Frontier installed, and that it's the COG version. If you double-click the icon and you get something that says hand game, you're not out of luck. Just go to the program files folder wherever you have that installed, go there and just double-click the exe and the launcher screen will appear. Otherwise, just get ready to do a lot of reading in the MindGuard forums, and if you finally get in and you finally enjoy the game, post there, post in the chat and game. There's going to be a lot of people around, and at least for the next 2 weeks, and we'd all like to play with you. Until next time, this is Shepard saying good luck, and have a good hunt.